Okay, and we have an Xbox One X. Reportedly no video. As you can see, it's running. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but the LED is on. And we got a black screen up in the capture window. So this is from a shop that normally does the HDMI repairs, so the HDMI is fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble it down to board level, perform our normal tests that typically don't show much, but we'll go from there. Okay, we're set up for testing. Let me switch you to microscope so you can follow along. Alright, so we're going to do our normal routine first. We'll check and make sure everything around the HDMI circuit is fine. Right on ground, I'll make sure none of these that shouldn't be are sorted to ground. The middle ones always are. Make sure we have throughput. And just to make sure, from the pins through the filters. Okay, everything seems all right there. Everything looks all right on the HDMI port. So, let's dial in on this retimer. According to the video I watched, we'll switch to diode. .27. It's not exactly what the reading he was getting. Let me select the ohms and see what we're getting. Then 235. Interesting. So according to him, if you measure this and you get a low reading, which kind of a low reading, apparently this and this are on the same signal. You're getting the exact same reading from this. If you're getting a low reading from either one of these, let's go with continuity. Yeah, I'm getting a much higher reading than he was getting. He was getting like 85 ohm. Whenever whenever the retimer was bad. So I believe it's going to be the retimer still. Yeah, we're getting the exact same reading from both those caps, so they are attached. He's right about that. So I'm going to be interested to see what reading we get on. I want to measure this after we take the chip off, and then I want to measure it once we put a new chip on. I'm pretty certain we're going to end up with the chip being a problem still. Just an educated guess. But we'll find out. It could be just a difference in what equipment we're using. My benchtop meter is not some sort of high fidelity. You know, it's not a fluke or anything like that. I use this meter because I can show it on screen. And that's really its top benefit. So let me switch you to temps or expected temps for this job while I turn on my equipment. Switch it back to scope. We'll pull the chip and test. Real quick, I'd like to kind of get, I know the board's a little bit warm, but I'd still like to get a general reading on that cap. Yeah, we get nothing without the chip, so that's interesting. What do we get on this one? And nothing without the chip. Okay, interesting. Alright. Let's get a new chip on there. Do some cleanup first. Okay, real quick, let's take another measurement. Just curious as to what it will read on my meter. How weird. Okay, let's try and diode. Now we're getting an exceptionally low reading. Interesting. Switch over to ohms. Okay, well now we're getting a really large reading. Okay. Okay. So now we're getting like 10K, 9K ohms from both of those. I don't know that it's exceptionally accurate reading on this meter, but it might just be good to say, okay, you should be getting a high ohm rating from this capacitor, and that capacitor, not a low one. So low is bad, and which is typical, except when you're working around a CPU or something like that. So anyway, let's clean this up, and then we'll put it back together for a test. And actually, I'll just do that off camera. I'm just going to clean it up and put it back together for a test, and we'll come back when we're ready to test. Okay, as you can see up in the top left, we are back up and running. Switch over to capture. We're back in 1080p. So it turns out that that was the problem. We'll come back for a summary in just a minute. Okay, in summary, we had an Xbox One X no video. Something we did a little bit different with this one is we attempted to follow a testing guide that was posted by another YouTuber. And we tested the capacitor near the retimer and near the driver that are supposedly connected, and it does appear that they are connected. And our original resistance rating, or original ohms rating in resistance mode was 234 ohms, which I think is probably going to be the best way to test this, is to switch over to ohms and test it in resistance. And then after we changed it, we got a 20K. It started out about 30K, and then it dropped down to below 10K. So I think the best thing to, or the best kind of rule set to adopt in this is if you're getting a low ohms rating on those capacitors, you probably have a bad retimer, and you should be getting a rating that's in the thousands of ohms range on those capacitors. So high is good, low is bad in this scenario. I wouldn't take to heart too much the readings I was getting on my meter. It's not a bad meter. It's just, it's not top of the line. It's not a fluke. It's not a Keysight or anything of that nature. It is just a meter that I bought because I can display it on screen, whereas like none of my flukes I can do that with. So anyway, so I wouldn't take to heart the readings I was getting, point for point. The basic rule I would say is high good, low bad in this scenario, because in his video he was getting like 0.84 ohms, and I forget what his final readings, but they weren't the same as mine. So low bad, high good, and if you're getting a low reading, change the retimer. That's probably the problem. I will set up to give credit real quick for that YouTube channel. This is the YouTube channel I got the information from. It is Go Cell Phone Repair. I've been a subscriber of his for a long time. He's not real consistent with his video posting, but he usually has some pretty good information. I wouldn't take advice on him how to remove a Nintendo Switch port. Just saying. Sorry, dude. But other than that, he's been very informative. He has very informative videos when he posts. So, unfortunately, as an addendum to this video, this is several days later. I got an Xbox One X in that I tested using this method. It looked like everything was fine, so I ended up taking it back to their shop and saying, look, eliminate everything that else it could possibly be. They did. It was still a problem. Brought it back here, tested again, still looked fine under this method. With this method, replaced the retimer, and it turned out the retimer was a problem. So unfortunately, while I think this method may give you a clue occasionally, it's not a 100%er. I was really hoping it would be a 100%er, but it's not. So we're kind of right back to where we started with the process of elimination, and it's unfortunate, but just the way it is. So unfortunately, this method is not going to turn out to be a reliable one. Like I said, it'll clue you in sometimes, but it can go bad and not present in this way. So that's really unfortunate, but it's the truth. So that video will be posting probably either this week or the next. So, but it'll be posting soon after. Anyway, sorry to lay the bad news on you, but that's what happened. So, and I had to re-edit this video and repost it. So it is what it is. Okay, that's really all I have for this video. If you have any questions about the equipment I used in this video, take a look in the description below. If you like this video, do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and maybe the notification bell, and you'll know when I post videos, which right now is about twice a week. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the video below or in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer your questions or direct you somewhere that can answer your questions. And that's really all I had to ask of you. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the channel support, and we'll see you next time.